Professor Valtheri was explaining quantum mathematics to her advanced physics class when the wall exploded. A Ravenox burst through, 800 pounds of muscle, teeth, and rage. Native to the death world Karnak 7, it was the apex predator that even apex predators feared. How it got onto the station was a question for later. Survival was the immediate concern. The alien students reacted according to their species' evolution. The Zealothi went catatonic, their prey freeze response triggering instantly. The Vorthons' camouflage activated, their bodies blending into the walls. The crystalline shards began high-frequency vibrating, trying to disorient the predator. The blobs simply liquefied, playing dead. Emma Rodriguez, the human exchange student, reacted differently. She grabbed her thermos. The Ravenox oriented on movement. Emma, still seated, taking a sip of coffee. The beast's 6 eyes focused on her. Muscles coiled. 300 teeth gleamed. Emma! Professor Valtheri started to scream. Don't, Mo! The Ravenox lunged. Emma moved. Not away, that's what prey does. She went sideways and forward, inside the arc of its claws. Her grandfather had been a bullfighter, her mother a combat medic, and Emma herself had grown up in Alaska where aggressive wildlife was just called Tuesday. The thermos, still full of scalding coffee, went straight into the beast's primary eyes. Emma didn't stop to see the effect. She was already moving, grabbing the professor's chair. Bolted to the floor, but humans had long ago learned that bolted down just meant requires more effort. The chair came free with a shriek of metal. Emma spun, using her whole body's momentum, and brought it around in an arc that would have made her softball coach proud. The impact caught the Ravenox mid-stumble, sending it crashing into the wall. The entire class was still processing the initial attack. To them, the wall had exploded, Emma had flickered, and suddenly the Ravenox was on the ground. But Emma wasn't done. Nobody moves, she said calmly, never taking her eyes off the beast. Movement triggers their prey drive. The Ravenox shook its head, coffee dripping from ruined eyes, and roared. The sound shattered every piece of glass in the room. Several students lost consciousness from fear. Emma picked up her quantum physics textbook, a thick, outdated hardcover she'd complained about carrying. Now she was grateful for old-fashioned publishing. The beast charged blind, following sound and scent. Emma stood perfectly still until the last possible second, then stepped aside like a matador. The textbook came down on the base of its skull with a crack that echoed through the room. Neural cluster. Even Death Worlders had weak points. The Ravenox stumbled but didn't fall. It swung around, claws extended, catching Emma across the ribs. Red blood splattered the floor. The sight of human blood triggered something primal in the beast. It forgot its pain, forgot its blindness. It knew only that prey was bleeding. Emma looked down at her torn shirt, the 3 parallel gashes across her ribs. Then she did something that made every alien in the room question their understanding of sapient behavior. She laughed. That's all? My cat does worse when I try to give her a bath. The Ravenox lunged again. This time Emma didn't dodge. She dropped to her back, planted her feet in its chest, and used its own momentum to flip it over her. Basic judo, adjusted for an opponent that weighed 4 times what she did. The beast hit the classroom's reinforced window. The transparasteel, designed to withstand meteor impacts, cracked but held. Emma was already up, ignoring the blood running down her side. She grabbed the classroom's emergency fire suppression unit, a heavy metal cylinder filled with expanding foam. Fun fact, she said conversationally, ripping the safety pin out with her teeth. Earth animals have been trying to eat humans for 2 million years. The Ravenox gathered itself for another charge. We're still here. She didn't spray the foam. She threw the entire cylinder. It hit the Ravenox's throat, triggering its swallow reflex. The beast bit down automatically, piercing the pressurized container. The foam, designed to expand and harden in seconds to seal hull breaches, filled the creature's mouth and throat. Collapsed, unconscious from lack of oxygen but still alive. Emma sat back down at her desk, pressing her hand against her ribs. So, Professor, you were saying about quantum entanglement? The room was silent. Every student, every species, stared at the human who just defeated a Death World predator in less than 90 seconds. With school supplies, Professor Valtheri's chromatic skin flickered through colors that didn't have names. How did you? Emma shrugged, then winced. Humans didn't evolve to be the strongest or fastest. We evolved to be the most unreasonably aggressive when cornered. That thing. She gestured at the unconscious Ravenox. It was just following instinct. But humans? We get creative when things try to kill us. Security arrived 5 minutes later to find the Ravenox unconscious, the classroom destroyed, and Emma insisting she could still take the quiz if someone could find her a bandage. The incident report was classified. The only official note read, "Human student responded to deadly threat with appropriate force. Recommend increasing structural reinforcement in any classroom containing humans."